Alrighty guys, welcome in, welcome on. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, click the icon later for making new videos. I'd really appreciate that, guys. We're going to get everything set up here. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully you guys have been trading well. Today's day, 5/28. Then we had 34.4K. 217. Been a while since we've had a nice green day like this. Feels good. Feels good to see some volatility back. Feels good to see some liquidity back. Some serious movement in the markets. And live going over today's trading day up 34.4K. Alright, post that. As always, subscribe to the channel. Click the icon to let you make new videos. I'd really appreciate that, guys. Helps the channel out a ton. I'm just getting everything set up here. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully you guys been trading well. Alright. So we'll set this up and then we'll go over here. We'll go like this. We'll go like this. Alright, I'm live. Oh, did we not post a picture? My bad. Second here. What's going on, Abi, Jalen, Kite? What's going on, guys? Alright, 1K, there it is. Alrighty, so we're just setting everything up. Setting everything up here. Today's big runners were ANGH. ISPOW. Wow, that's on me. We had CPTN. We also had BRCC. And what's like another runner really quick? Oops. Dude, FTK. Alrighty, guys. Good to have you guys on. Good to have you guys in. Let's go on TikTok now. Live. Cool. Let's go on Instagram as well. And then we'll be ready to go here. Alright guys, we're live here at normagnoTrading.com. We're live here at normagnoTrading.com. Alrighty guys. Eric Nelson. You have 22 green days? Eric, that's so awesome. Congratulations, man. I remember you coming in here a while ago. Keep up the hard work, keep up the grind. That's awesome, awesome stuff. Eric, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to catch up. I know that you've been in here a little bit. Elgin, what's up? Con, who's up one? What's going on? Raleigh Erickson. Good to see you. No problem, Eric. All right. Truce Blind. Jake, what's going on? Neo. Andrew, what's up? Alrighty, guys. We'll let everybody kind of trickle on in here. And then we're going to go ahead and get started today. It's good to see the markets kind of come back a little bit. It's good to see what's going on, Sophie. It's good to see the markets come back. It's good to see a little bit of volatility again. You know, when there's stocks that are running and ripping, that's when it's the market's the most easy to be able to trade out of. You know, sure, you know, I can trade, what's going on, KO? You know, I could trade stocks and swing them multi-day, multi-week, multi-month, but that's not what I train myself to do at this point in my career. I train myself to be a day trader, and then a swing trader second, and then long-term investor third. There will be a point in my career, though, where liquidity becomes a real problem, and I switch out of that. But for right now, we're seeing the market kind of heat up, which is great. ISPO set that off, and that's what created the opportunities that were out there today. And yeah, so hopefully you guys traded well out there. Hopefully you guys been studying hard, and hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of some type of the volatility today. you know, I know that there was a lot of moving parts out there, and I wanted to kind of stress this. You know, you guys that are you know, seeing all these gains and seeing all these big moves, and that's great and all, but you have to be willing and ready to know that it's okay to miss out on things. What's going on, Kimberly? It's okay to miss out on things, guys. It's okay to miss out. It's okay to be not a part of things. It's okay to literally just not take any trades today, because the reality is, with stocks holding up like they did today, there's going to be more opportunities tomorrow and into the next day. So just know that. You know, today was kind of my warm-up day. Tomorrow should be a little bit better of a day, and, you know, when setups come to me, I will take them. But this is when the market tends to be the best for me. Whenever we get a 3 to 5 to 1,000% runner, we get to, you know, see a lot more volatility and a lot more range in the markets. And that's what I love to see. The better the range, the better I trade. And that's just the reality. So that's what I train myself to do. The more range in any piece of the stock, the better. You know, the more range in a swing trade, the more range in long term, the more range in short term. Whether the time frame, the better, really. Because the more range, the more money you can make or lose. You have to think of it from a two-sided perspective, and always know that I'm not a financial advisor. Trade at your own risk. I have a plan, a process, and a strategy. You know, that's when things come quicker, but they also can leave quicker. And that's when I trade my best, because I'm able to. That's when a lot of people are very, very, very emotional, and that's when I'm the most prepared and set up for, because this is the time that I trade my best, because I train for this. I study my ass off for this. I work really hard for any opportunity like today, and to capitalize on days like today. So, I try to play PayPal calls. I lost like $300 in the options account today on PayPal calls. Nothing crazy. But the big trades of the day. So DWAC was able to. So WNW was. I started off the day down about 19 grand, believe it or not. And I saw this move here, and you know, I saw this kind of liquidity rise up, and then it just dumped straight back down. And I was just. I mean, I don't know when the last time I saw something kind of gap like this. Consolidate and then rip on that much volume and then come down past where the consolidation started that quickly. And I was just mind blown. And I maybe I should have stopped out quicker, and maybe I shouldn't have taken so much size, to be honest. And that's the reality that I'll learn for next time. But I ended up being down like 20 grand to start the day. And then you can see my first entries on ISPO. Let's see here. Let's look at this. So you can see my first entries were down in here, and then I ended up taking a short right in here, which was a huge mistake. But luckily, you know, I knew that this thing had a lot of risk to it, so I ended up just taking 300 shares. 300 shares. I ended up, I lost like on 300 shares. I lost like 5 grand though. You can see right there, 300 shares short, and I covered it at 54. Now, that execution was very, very bad. But a lot of times, guys, when I see a ripper and a ramper like this, and then I see a gap down, a lot of times with light volume, a lot of times these things gap down and then they just fade off. And this might be one of maybe 2 or 3 setups in my entire career where I see a light volatile 300% ripper, a gap down, and then a move like that. I can't really remember something that did that. And so I just played the percentages with very, very, very small size, knowing the risk, knowing the potential, and realizing that, that's what can happen. And so, I ended up covering it right up in here, right before the halt. And, the biggest part of that whole entire trade was the amount of size that I had. I knew my risks. I knew this thing was very volatile, and I took a tiny, tiny, tiny size. If I would have taken a big position on that, that could have ruined my entire day, and I couldn't have come back from that, right? But the reality is, I left myself with a $5,000 loser. Oh, and by the way, we had ANGH right down in here, guys. We had ANGH. The ideas were right in here. You can see me initially take the entries at 10,000 shares because I knew that ISPO was up, but I didn't realize it was going to run all the way to 14, whatever it did. And, that was tough to watch. And then it was tough to also see this thing just go to $33. But the thesis was there. The mentality was there. I just need to be a little bit more comfortable in knowing that, when ISPO was ripping and ramping, around 9:30 or so, that ANGH, was already up that much and it was holding. And then all of a sudden, this is where the real volume came in. It was just insane. And I ended up taking it there on the backside, 1277 average. So I had a really, really solid average on ANGH, the second position. The average was the white line right here. So 1277. So right there was my average. And then I believe I sold it, where was it? At 1382. Oh my gosh, I sold it right there. And then this thing consolidates and goes to $33 an hour later. If I hold on to that position, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I'm just saying. If I hold on to that position, which hindsight, maybe I should have held on a little longer knowing how much, ISPO was up and knowing that some of these plays generally take a little bit longer to rip and ramp. Knowing that, things like that can really take a while to start to really catch and the FOMO starts to really click in. And I just felt like ISPO wasn't moving quick enough, as well as ANGH wasn't, the first round wasn't there, and then the second rip I was like, okay, that was good, it wasn't great. And then that's where the real volume and the real FOMO. And this is what I teach at normacnotrading.com. This is a very real concept right here. This is predictable. This stuff is predictable. It is very, very predictable. And it's how I made a lot of my career. No different. It's all the same concept, whether it be a large cap, a mid cap, or a small cap. It's all the same concepts. Okay? When there's a stock that rips and ramps, the faster it rips, generally the faster the sympathy plays rip. The farther it runs, generally the faster the sympathy play, or the farther the sympathy play runs. And on the bigger scale, the more sympathy plays there are, whether it be GameStop, AMC, and so on and so forth. This is all things that I cover in depth in my course. Yeah, play the trend. And, these are the very, very predictable setups. Not only that, but they rip and ramp on a ton of liquidity and a ton of volatility, and it's very predictable on top of all that. If I hold these 20,000 shares up to even 20s and 30s, you might be looking at a $100,000 plus day, right? But I will say, overall, I'm pretty happy with the way I executed. I know my mentality right now, and it's very, very base hit mentality. I felt very, very fortunate to be up as much as I was today because I really wasn't expecting to be up this much, as well as I've been struggling, and I've been trying to get back into a rhythm. And the way that I get back into a rhythm is I downsize a ton and I don't look for massive amounts of profitability and the massive amounts of capture of percentages, right? I'm just taking base hits. Now, the size represented my conviction, but at the same time, sure, maybe a couple months from now when I start to get things going, the counts back up to 1 million, great. I'll probably hold that into maybe 18s and 20s, but I have to get that engine churning. And I have to get the size proper, right? So, if I'm doing, if it's last year during GameStop and AMC's, I probably hold this to 25 to 27s with that kind of size, and I scale out. And then I know I have a ton of padding, so maybe I take a little bit down in here, But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way that I traded today because of the mindset that I've been in and just the opportunities that were out there and taking them. Reality was I was trying to short this stock right up in here, to be honest. I could not accept that 6,000 shares short were going to cost me 15 grand. So let's do the math there. I just didn't see it being worth it, basically, overall. So, that was one of the more obvious shorts of the day right there. And sure, I probably would have walked away with, let's say $200,000, let's say 30, 40 grand. Best case, right? But the borrows were just so much, and that's just too much to borrow up there. And I took it, and that was the trade that I almost took, but I didn't. Now, I think it ripped and ramped, and the good thing is, I'm overnight both these stocks, ISPO and ANGH overnight. Smaller size, so if it does come down, it's one thing, but if it goes, it's great. I really like the way that ISPO is holding up. Not many times are you going to see a stock up 600, 500% and hold up all day on an uptrend like that. So I'm excited to see what this one does tomorrow. And then what did I trade? I traded ISPO after hours. Was able to nail that for $1,500. BRCC was another great trade to lock up the day. BRCC, I saw this one on the yearly. Okay, and not only has it been kind of just uptrending. If you look at the 5-minute, it's kind of just bouncing off the lows and kind of uptrending. But then today I saw, not only was it uptrending, and then once we broke above, I was like, we're getting really close to all-time highs, just like ISPO, right? And people saw what happens, like something like ISPO happens, right? 914, consolidate, and then boom, right? So it's kind of the same thing, our BRCC, consolidate, boom. And it's in the same price range. So I just took size. I saw the way this thing honestly had recovered, right? So this thing had sold off, and then I love to see this recover right here, and this is where I took my interest. Not only did it sell off, but then it reclaimed quickly on a big candle there. And you can see my average on BRCC was 18.17, so right in here. This thing rips up, and of course I'm out first rip, and it goes all the way to $22. And then it closes disgusting, but it doesn't matter because there's opportunity in this, guys. There's opportunity, and I missed out on a lot of that one as well. And it's going to be something that I watch the rest of the week as well. So, we as day traders, we look for opportunities like this. Yeah, sure, it might came back down, but you have to be able to long and short things quickly in day trading and take advantage of momentum. So, yeah, that's about it today, guys. Those were my big trades. And everything else was just kind of just base hits, little things here and there. BRCC, ANGH was kind of my big trades of the day, and that was about it today, guys. So I'll be honest, in the room at normagnoTrading.com, we had the ANGH idea really, really early. Let's go back and see if we can find the idea. See if we can find it. Canada Man. Okay, let's just look up Canada Man. Cool. See if I can find it, because I know I posted it. Okay. Going through here. Oops. I'm going through the free chat room here, and I'm trying to find where the first idea was on ANGH here. You can see, there it is, right there. ANGH, 7:42 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:42 Eastern Standard. ANGH, worth watching off ISPO, trying to find others. So when there's sympathy plays, guys, and I see a stock ripping and ramping, I try and find the best that I can find on the initial, just things are happening so fast. I look to see if I can find it, and if I find it, great. If I don't, I'm looking for others. So I wanted to get it out there, ANGH, worth watching off ISPO, trying to find others, which I was. And then you can see ISPO up 350%. This is usually when we get sympathy plays. Watch ANGH is all I can find. Any others, let me know. ISPW off ISPO. Then I found another one, MYNZ and ANGH top watches. And then we looked at one other one. There was one other one. CPTN. So you can see, and that idea there on ANGH was really early. So let's go back and look here. So 7:42, right there was where I had found the idea, right? Actually, right where I entered was the idea. You can see there, my first entries was 11:35, and then this thing rips to 14, right? Then we get a consolidation, and this is the beauty of it, When you get a hot market, those sympathy plays can rip and ramp for, do I need to say enough? AMC off GameStop, right? COS. You guys remember COS? Let's go back and look at the good times, right? This is all just sympathy FOMO. $2 to 127. Do I need to say enough, guys? These concepts are very, very powerful. Ingrain them in your head, know how they work, and they are powerful when you're able to take advantage of them. I know I sold way too soon, but that's because I'm in a tighter mind frame. Now tomorrow, I might let things go a little farther now that I know we're in a hotter market, especially if ISPO keeps going. So, the scanner helps me a ton finding these. And they're doing a trial, guys. I believe ISPO was caught on my scanner, if I remember right. Oh, yeah, I know ISPO was, but also the more important one was ANGH. And so, they're doing an $11.11 trial, and that's how I initially found trade ideas. So if you're going to try that out, check out the room. I'll post it in the room right now. Okay, this is... Where is it? All right. So let's go ahead and go to the trading floor. Okay, so I'll post this in here. It's also on the link in my bio. Okay. Where is it? I know that there's something here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to post this in the chat room because I want you guys to be able to take advantage of it. It's very important to my success, and it's very important to me finding opportunities in the market. It's my eyes and ears, okay? Anyways, guys, you guys have any questions? I'm going to answer about 2 to 4 questions. First come, first serve. And then I'll go from there. And then that's going to be it for me today because I've already been on here 20 minutes. It's already 5 minutes over what I usually like to do. Hey, from Romania, what's going on? Ukraine, hope you're doing okay. Eric Scott, Diska, I don't really go over specific stuff. What do I set my scanner for? Volume, percent gain? I have scanner settings on the website. You can feel free to check those out. How do we find sympathy plays? That's all in my course. I don't have time to explain any of that. Those are very, very long answered questions. If you want to look at that, you can look into my course on the sympathy play side of it. Did you find ANGH on FinViz? I believe I found it on the scanner, and then I saw it on social media as well, I think. I would like to see another 21 happen. Yeah, of course, we all would, Jalen. Fast Eddie. I'm sorry, but it just would take me way too long. I apologize. Nutty Bits, what's going on? How's your strategy change and downturn in the market? The sports update, my strategy works really, really well. Almost probably better when the market's tanking than it is rising. What boot camp do you what book do you recommend? 1000 to 100. Also, Mark Murnavini books are great. Murnavini, I think I'm saying that. Kim, how do you manage so many trades? With the amount of size that I have, it helps me manage things as well as experience. Alrighty, guys. I appreciate you guys for subscribing to the NorMagNoTrading.com community. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click the icon on all your information.